Hi, and welcome back to U.S. Civics. I'm your host, Kimberly Herw. Each week, we bring you the most up-to-date and most important information regarding U.S. civics, participation in government, history, and culture about the United States. To the left of me, as always, is our non-sponsor, Snapple, where we get to every week find out the cool new history Snapple fact. This week's history Snapple fact is that the city of San Francisco is built on more than 50 hills. If you've ever been to the city of San Francisco in the great state of the Golden State of California, it is the most hilly city I've ever seen. I don't know if it's the most hilly in the United States, but it has a large amount of hills. So hearing it has more than 50, very believable. Now on to what we're here for. We're going to discuss the next segment of the Constitution, Article 2. This is Episode 6, discussing Article 2 of the Constitution, which covers the executive branch of the United States. Last week we covered the Congress with the legislative branch, so they create the laws. The executive branch enforces the laws, makes sure that they are taken care of, and that people are following them. The head of the executive branch is the U.S. President, something that the United States was just putting on the precipice of beginning when they created the Constitution. The Constitution allowed a president to run for a term of 4 years. The 4 years that they were in office, they were allowed to run the country, but they did not get directly elected, unlike the Congress that we talked about last week. There's something called the Electoral College that allows us to put the president into effect. There will be a whole episode on how the Electoral College works to make sure that we don't confuse you, and we'll make it as easy as possible. Every president that has been in power out of the 46 presidents that we've had has all recited the same vow when they are inaugurated on January 20th. This vow is as follows. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and will do my best to my ability preserve, protect, defend the Constitution of the United States. All these words were uttered and repeated by all 46 people that have been president. No matter if they were president once, twice, 3 times, or even 4 in the case of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So what does the president do other than enforce the laws? Well, the first thing is that the president has to be born here. They have to be a natural born citizen in order to be president. The only exception to that rule is they can be born on an embassy or overseas on an embassy which is considered U.S. soil. You cannot be a naturalized citizen. You have to be born here. How does it work with presidents? What are their rules and their responsibilities? The first is they're the commander-in-chief. They make sure that the military is running effectively and to the best of their ability. They grant nominating people to different positions in the cabinet, such as current day they nominate the Secretary of Defense, who makes sure that the government is safe, the Secretary of State, which deals with other foreign powers, the Secretary of Commerce, who makes sure that the economy is okay, Secretary of the Treasury, who makes sure that the money is coined correctly with the help of the Congress, and so on and so forth. And we'll spend a whole episode on just the cabinet and go through all of them with you. They're also nominating ambassadors to our favorite foreign nations, our close allies, so that we have somebody in the stronghold of these countries, so that they have somebody to go to when things happen that arise regarding the relationships between the United States and those countries. They also nominate judges, that all of these people, the cabinet, the judges, the ambassadors, are all approved by the U.S. Congress, which goes to show you checks and balances now working. They fill vacancies of U.S. Congress when they are not in session. If someone should die or can no longer carry out their term as a member of the Congress during the time that the Congress is no longer active or they're currently on vacation, the U.S. President can put somebody in till the next election. Normally, the governor of that state will handle it when they are in session. When they're not in session, the United States President takes care of it. At time to time, they give you a State of the Union address, which tells you what's going on with actually how the government is doing, how the United States is handling things, and what's going on around the nation. It is now common day in my 40-somewhat years of being on this earth that every January, February, we have a State of the Union by the President every year. Back in the day, because things weren't as media-oriented and they weren't as easy to traverse, it was from time to time. Now every year we get to hear from the President. Now, the President can be removed from office as well. They are not above the law just because they are the President. If they commit treason, bribery, or they issue any high crimes and misdemeanors with foreign nations, granting them any sort of secret information or acting against the United States with a foreign power, they lose their position. And the Congress, as we spoke about last week, can impeach them and they can lose their power. The last thing that the executive branch does is they make treaties. So with the Articles of Confederation we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the United States Congress handled treaties with other nations. That position has now been given to the executive branch, so they can be the liaison between the United States and that foreign government to make sure that the treaties that we're entering into, or even treaties on our soil with the Native American population, is actually upheld and the rights and regulations of the United States are upheld correctly. As every week goes on, we will continue to delve into the Constitution, next week bringing us Article 3, which is the judicial branch, and the final constructive branch of the major tiers of the United States government. As always, we are In a Flash Photocorp production here on Long Island at the LI Studio in New York. And we would like to thank you, and please think of liking and subscribing and coming back every week so that we can bring you as much information as possible to arm you with, so that history never remains a mystery. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week.